Well, this latest effort by the United States comes at a time when there is so much tension in other parts of the Middle East. Joining me again here in Abu Dhabi to discuss this is Faisal Al Yafai with the daily newspaper here, The National. Much talk about the beginning of talks once again on the Middle East peace process. Does this region, do you think, believe that these talks will lead to a peace process going forward, or is there a lot of scepticism here?
I think there's skepticism everywhere. I don't think anybody seriously thinks that at the end of 9 months we will have a Palestinian state. But, as always, you have to be optimistic about this. There has been a concerted push by Kerry. 6 times he's been to the region. He's really pushing this. And it's entirely likely that something will come out of it. But if you ask me, and I think if you ask most Palestinians living in this region, if they think that in a year's time they'll be in an independent state side by side with the Israelis, very unlikely.
How do you read the Israeli-Palestinian talks so far as their priority in Obama's inbox are concerned, when he's also got the likes of Syria and Egypt to deal with?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, if you look around the Middle East, if you were saying, coming in from the outside and looking around and thinking, what is the most pressing problem that the Middle East faces today, I don't think you would look at Palestine. Even though the Palestinian territories question is an important one and a vital one for the region, the fact of the matter is half of Syria is on fire. It's an immense, immense problem. And I ask myself, why is it that the Obama administration, knowing that they can make a decisive change in the largest conflict raging in the Middle East, have decided to focus on this?
Can they make a decisive change in Syria?
Yes.
If they were to put their money where their guns were, as it were.
And it would have to be that. It would have to be weaponry. There's no doubt that the only people who can fight this war are the rebels, but they cannot do it alone. Just as the Libyan rebels could not topple Gaddafi on their own, the Syrians cannot topple Assad. What they need is the backing of the West, and they need weapons.
In a word, does the US, and you seem to be suggesting to me that they do, but do they still have the sort of influence and leverage here in the Middle East as we would say they had over the past 20, 30 years?
Well, the guns and the money buys you a lot of leverage. So they still have the biggest guns, and they still have, broadly, the largest amount of money. So they can, yes. Whether they can in the same way leverage their global influence as they could have done prior to the Iraq War, that's a very different question.
Fascinating. Thank you.